In life, we'll be tempted and tested just before our calling or just before we change our life. There's a parable of the seeds, and it says a lot of people give up, a lot of people fall off at the point of testing, at the point of temptation, without realizing that is the very point that their life will change. That is the final test. It is your biggest test. And that is why you shouldn't give up. That is when your faith is getting tested. And once you pass that test, the great reward comes after that. Because your purpose and your calling is heavily linked to your struggles, is heavily linked to your darkness, is heavily linked to your fears. That's why it hurts so much. And that is why it's so important to keep that resilience. In fact, you are learning resilience. In fact, you are maturing. And in fact, your character is growing. In the Bible, Christ was tempted by the devil for 40 days and 40 nights, and the devil tried to tempt him with the kingdoms of the world. But Christ's calling was to save the kingdoms of the world. In the Bible, Abraham struggled to have children, but he was told he was going to be the father of many nations. When he did finally have a child, Isaac, God tested him by saying, "Offer up your child as a sacrifice." But luckily, he wasn't offered up as a sacrifice because Abraham had faith in God. Job had all the status in the world, the money, the large family, the friends, and it was all taken away from him. He ended up with disease. He ended up with friends that were constantly mocking and taunting him. But he still maintained his faith. Because who better to teach other people than the people who have been through it? But we are tested with what we care about the most. That's why it hurts so much. But in the book of Luke, it talks about good trees and bad trees. And only good trees can bear good fruit, can bear good character, can grow well, can grow life for themselves. And that is why you're getting tempted and tested. It's refining you. It's making you a better person. It's making you a good tree.